This is the Shimbal Memory One, a high bright, low budget monitor recorder that might be worth your attention. Let's start with a caveat, which is that Shimbal sent this monitor to me for free in order to make a video to review it. However, I was very clear that I wouldn't let that affect my opinions. In fact, I was more than ready to make a negative review about a monitor at this budget level, as I often find monitors like this very disappointing. However, after using it for a couple of months now with my FX30, I have to say I'm quite impressed. And I think that at this budget level, if you're looking for a monitor, this one might be worth your consideration. So, the Memory One is a 2000 nit, high bright 5.5 inch monitor that runs with MPF batteries. It records internally to an SD card. Monitor recorders usually record to SSD cards like the Atomos series. The benefit of this is the high read and write speeds mean that you can record externally over HDMI at a higher bit rate and even in RAW when your camera internally isn't capable of recording this. So why would it be beneficial to record to SD cards instead? Because of the lower read and write speeds that SD cards have, your camera is probably more capable of recording a high fidelity image internally than it would be through this monitor. The most obvious use case is a proxy workflow. Being able to record high fidelity internal files in your camera while simultaneously recording lower resolution proxies on your monitor could be a good workflow for you. Passing off that SD card at the end of the day to an editor, or ingesting it yourself so that you can edit faster using smaller file sizes and then use the larger files later might be the workflow for you. Another beneficial use case would be continuous recording. Because of the smaller file sizes, you could run this monitor recording continuously whilst being more sparing with the internal recordings in camera, meaning that you never miss a moment. A final use case would be using this as a director's monitor, and as such being able to play back your own recordings without having to bother the camera department when they're busy trying to make the next setup. In the box, you have an instruction manual, a screen protector, the panel itself, a small HDMI cable, and a small monitor bracket. It's great to see in this budget range all the little add-ons that they've put in. The monitor itself is well built, it's a sturdy plastic. It has an MPF battery slot on the back. On the side it has an SD card slot. Mine came with an SD card as well. It has a 1/4-20 mount, headphone jack. On the bottom, another 1/4-20 mount as well as a USB-C in. It has an HDMI in, an HDMI out and a DCI in. And then finally on the top it has the power on button and 3 function buttons. It's really great to see HDMI in and out on a monitor at this budget. It's not usually a feature you're going to get, but it is a very useful one. Let's slide in an MPF battery and see how long this takes to boot up. So this is probably one of the downsides of this monitor, that it does take a long time to power up. I really like the user interface. It's very intuitive and it comes with quite a lot of features that you usually see in higher end monitors, including scopes, peaking, anamorphic support, as well as other markers. And of course you have a recording menu. Recording comes in 3 flavors, lower, LT, HQ and XQ. And you can set whether you are triggering it with timecode or from this button here. 2000 nits is very bright and this panel can easily be seen even outside on a bright sunny day. However, this is one of the potential downsides of this monitor for me as well. 2000 nits in a lot of use cases, especially indoors, is far too bright. And you're therefore going to have to turn down the backlight. In doing so though, I found that you have to play with the contrast and the brightness in order to get a true image, which can be a little bit fiddly and will still not get the truest image possible. 2000 nits of brightness also creates a lot of heat, but I have to say I've been quite impressed with how quiet the fan noise is on this, really not noticing it at all every time I've used it. The monitor itself will get a little bit hot, but all monitors of this size and brightness probably do as well. I think the first major downside of this monitor are that the recording capabilities aren't very high fidelity. If you're looking for a higher fidelity external recording monitor, you should be looking at the Atomos series. I don't think that's going to be a downside for everyone, especially given how budget friendly this monitor is. But if you are looking to record external RAW or record high bitrate files, then this probably isn't the monitor for you. The biggest downside of this monitor is really the image quality. I think it is a good panel, especially at this budget range, but when I sit it side by side compared to say a small HD monitor, it doesn't give anywhere near as true an image. The big caveat for that though, this monitor costs around $200 and my small HD Indy 7 that I'm comparing it to costs around $1,300. So my conclusion is this: if you're looking for a compact, budget-friendly monitor recorder, this might be a good option to consider. It's bright, the image is clear. The only downsides are that your ability to record high-fidelity files are limited, and you won't get as true an image as the industry standard monitors like Small HD and Atomos. So I'd say this: if you're looking to level up, if you have a higher budget, maybe you should be considering companies like Small HD and Atomos. There's a reason they're industry standards. However, if you're looking for a budget-friendly compact monitor, maybe this is worth your consideration. Thanks to Shinbor for sending me this unit, and thank you for watching.